This scholarship pays your full tuition fee. You also get a yearly stipend to cover your living allowance, and the stipend amounts to 39,700 Australian dollars for the entire duration of your studies. There's also a possibility of getting top-up living allowance and also part or all of your health insurance covered. Now this application is currently open. I'm going to be showing you everything about this application and how to apply for this. Now today we are going to be looking at the Masters of Research Scholarship at Macquarie University. Now Macquarie University is located in Sydney, Australia, and is one of the top ranking universities in Australia and even in the world. Now to apply for this scholarship, you have to keep in mind that the deadline is October 31st, 2026. Now it is currently open, so you have some time to prepare all your documentation and make sure that you submit a winning application. Now this is for those that want to start their studies by January or February of next year, 2027. Now what are the documents you'll be needing when you want to apply for this? You'll be needing an official transcript of all your prior studies, so your bachelor's degree, you need a transcript for it, and you have to make sure that your transcript, your university grading scale is accompanying it. Now usually most transcripts, the grading scale of the university is usually located at the bottom of it or at the last page of it. But if your transcript do not have a grading scale, you have to make sure that you provide a official university grading scale which is going to accompany your transcript. You also need to provide your degrees. You also need to submit a detailed CV. Now if you completed a thesis as part of your formal degree, you will need to submit the abstract of the thesis, copy of the thesis, the grade awarded for the thesis component, and the duration in months of the thesis component of your degree. You also need to submit a copy of your passport, or if you do not have a passport available yet, your birth certificate. Now you also need to produce a research proposal. Now everything you need to be able to create a research proposal, I'm going to be telling you that at the end of this video. Lastly, you have to also submit an email from your supervisor confirming their support to supervise you, especially for those that want to take a Master of Research in the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences. These are people that it is compulsory for them to submit an email from their supervisor confirming their support to supervise them. Now if you are not from one of these faculty, it's not necessarily compulsory, but it is advisable. Now all your documents should be in English translation. Now let me now show you how to apply for the scholarship and how to apply for a course. So this is the scholarship. As I told you, it is for Master of Research. So you're just going to click on Master of Research, open a new tab, and it's going to take you to this page. Now in this page, we are going to be exploring the research degree that is provided by Macquarie University. So we are going to Master of Research because the scholarship is for Master of Research. So once we click on the page, it's going to take us here. Now we can see the research training, meet some of their students, their current students. Now these are the faculties that Macquarie University offers. Now we have the Faculty of Arts, Medicine, Health and Human Sciences. Remember that specifically for the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences, you have to submit an email showing that you have a supervisor that have agreed to supervise you when you are submitting your application. So I'm going to be using one faculty as an example. So we are going to be taking the Faculty of Arts. This is the Masters of Research in Arts, right? Now we are looking at the overview. You have to make sure that I am an international student is what is showing. Now it is a 1-year program and it starts in 1st of January 2026. You look at the summary, the key features, how you will be employable after you get the scholarship. Now look at the course structure, the career outcome. So what possible career can you do once you have studied this course? Your entry requirement is that you have a high level of English language proficiency. I'm going to be showing you the English language proficiency to see if you meet the basic requirements for this particular university. Now your bachelor's degree or your graduate diploma, you have to have a good result from a recognized institution. So you have to have the certification from a recognized institution, right? Now that's all you need for this to meet the eligibility of this particular course. Now the quickest way to apply will be through the applicant portal. So they also give you tips on applying. They're advising that you apply early so that you have adequate time to arrange your student visa, travel and accommodation, right? So you're very decided on the course. What you have to do now is just to gather your documentation. I'll be showing you how to apply for the course along with your scholarship. Now that you know how to pick your particular course, and you have seen how to check for the course and if you meet the entry requirements, let's go back to our scholarship and how to apply for it. Now, as I told you before, after you have found your graduate degree and you have seen the scholarship you are interested in, what we need to do next is to find a researcher and also develop a research proposal. Just to add that, in addition to your documentation, you need the names of 2 referees, the position of the referees, their phone number and their email address, especially for those that are applying for the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences. The details of these 2 referees are highly compulsory. Now, referees are not required for those that want to study graduate certificate or graduate diploma, but this scholarship is for those that are interested in masters of research. So you will need the details of 2 referees that will send a reference for you. So you have to also put that in mind. Now, how do you find a researcher? We'll just click on find a researcher, open a new tab. So when you click on find a potential researcher to support your candidacy, they are telling you that you have to try your best to find a supervisor with the right research expertise. I've told you before that when you're checking for a supervisor, you have to make sure that the researcher's interest aligns with your interest. So if I'm doing a study on maybe employment economics, I cannot go and look for a supervisor whose focus is on gender economics. There's going to be a misalignment and the possibility of being rejected by that supervisor is high. So you have to look for not just a supervisor that is in employment economics or in labor economics, someone whose topic aligns with your interest. So you have to check what are their research interests, what projects are they currently working on, and what other research project have they supervised or are they currently supervising. Now, how do you connect with the potential supervisor? You just send them an email and they're telling you that just send them information about yourself. You can include a current CV, a brief outline of your research question or the area of interest, and then a short explanation of why you would like to work with them. Now, once they have agreed to supervise you, they will now help you, give you advice and help you to prepare your research proposal that you can now use to submit. Now, to check for them, you click on supervisors database. So let's open a new tab. So this is the supervisors database, right? If you don't know their names, you can enter their names. If you don't know their names, you can just scroll and check for them, or you can just type what you are interested in. Let's do something on arts. Yes, since I showed you how to apply for a master's in research in arts, let's wait for that. Now, these are the names of potential supervisor. You can see that this is the deputy chancellor. This is for School of Communications. So let me just click on full profile. Now, this is everything about this potential supervisor. You can see this is a brief summary of her work, her interests. This is her research interest, what she's interested in. So if you have a research that aligns with this, you can send her a message and include everything I told you to include. To be sure, you can check her research. This is her research output. So she has publications from the year 2008. You can read on some of her work, so that you'll be able to explain why you want her to supervise you. You cannot just go and put, oh, I like your work. I will advise that you say something that makes her know that you have gone to go and do the work. Like, you're not just saying, oh, I need a supervisor and I need you to be my supervisor. You say, oh, I read your work on this, I read your work on that. I saw the way your approach to this particular topic or the methodology you use to this particular topic, it's something I'm interested in, and that's why I want you to be my supervisor. Not something just generic like, oh, please, I want a supervisor. I'm sure they get a lot of this email. They want something that will make them know that you did the work and make you stand out among all the people that are sending them emails that day or that week. And I see that if you have seen that you are interested in her, you can click on her email address here. Another thing you can also do is also view her Scopus profile. Scopus profile is just going to be showing you all her publications that is in Scopus journal. Now, once you have picked it and you have decided to send her an email and just wait for feedback. And you don't have to just send to one person. You can send to as many people as possible. Now, After you have found your supervisor, you now have to create and prepare your research proposal, because I told you guys before that research proposal must also be included when you are submitting your documents for application. So to prepare your research proposal, you just click on prepare research proposal. So as I said, for the Master of Research, you need to prepare approximately 1 page of research proposal. For PhDs, it's typically longer, but for MRS, which is what you're applying for, it's just 1 page. Now, what do they need? A proposed project area or research. What is the issue you are addressing? Your research topic, what is it addressing? Also, you also have to put some of your literature review. So what are other literature saying about this issue you are addressing? What are other literature that have said about something similar? So you have to do your literature review, the objective of the research, and a description of possible methodology that may be relevant to the topic. And you also have to draft a timeline or plan for the project. This is for PhD, so it's 3 years, but for a Master of Research, it's just 1 year. That's why they said approximately 1 page. For a Master of Research, you don't have to go all that deep as you would for a PhD. You just summarize your research, what you intend to research, your proposed area, some of the literatures, and just how you are going to approach it. That's all for a Master of Research. They say you have to provide enough details so that the department can determine if they are going to support you or not. Now, the good thing about for Master of Research is that you are working hand in hand with your supervisor. So once you do anything, your supervisor is going to be telling you and be guiding you on how to make the proposal very, very good. Now, once you have that and your proposal is now ready and you send it to your potential supervisor and they have said that you can submit it, I will now take you to the English language requirements, because I said I was going to show you earlier on. Now, the English language requirements, your English test should not be more than 2 years old. And now they are expecting a level of English proficiency. So if you have your IELTS, if you have your TOEFL, you have to meet the overall minimum score. Now you can just check out the minimum score for some of them: the Pearson test, the Cambridge English test for C1 and C2. You now have an official English language test. We'll now see if there are other ways for you to meet. The English language proficiency. Now, if you studied in one of these 5 selected countries and you have a minimum of 5 years of study in one of them, now the African country that is showing here is South Africa. This is the only African country that is allowed. If you have studied 5-year course, you can apply without English language test. We have qualification from these countries. We have Belgium, Malaysia, just these countries that are listed here. You also do not need to provide an English language test. These are the countries, and these are ways that you can meet the English language test for this university and this scholarship. So if you do not have that, you have to find whether this is something you are willing to pursue and if you can sit for the test and apply for this. So I'll go back to now show you overall how to apply for the scholarship. Once you are done, you have found your supervisor, you have found your course of study, you have developed your research proposal, you have packed all the documents that you are supposed to pack. You are going to be applying directly to Macquarie University. You do not need an agent for this. Now, as an international student, you have to register as temporary entry permit. If you are applying for a scholarship, you have to indicate the scholarship reference number under the scholarship details. Now, I'll be showing you the scholarship reference number. When you go to the scholarship, this is the reference number here. So for this particular scholarship, that is the Macquarie Master of Research Scholarship. The scholarship reference is this number, IR2R. IR2R. So you have to include that when you are applying. Now, once you are ready to apply, you're just going to be clicking on the online application form. This is the online application form. New applicant, you enter your surname, your given name, your date of birth, gender, email, and then tick what you agree to, register and apply, and you can now start the application process. So that's all for this scholarship. If you have any questions, let me know, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye guys.